Okay, act up. Don't act up. We on camera now.
I'm good, man.
I
I'm
know,
rolling with
I
it, man.
know.
That's you. That's
Okay.
you. I plead the fifth on everything I say. I'm good.
See,
I'm
you
good.
you already setting up the scenes. What it do, folks? Team No Sleep. We here. It's October 25th. Man, this is a good night. You know, Montel, what's going on with you, brother? Talk to us.
Oh man. Besides my mustache look a little crooked on the camera, I'm doing
Mm-mm.
fine. I'm doing perfect,
Get
brother.
it together, brother.
I'm
Come
good,
on
man.
now.
Yeah,
Let's
yeah.
get
I
it
mean,
together.
let's be real. Just blessed, man. Blessed that my 10 toes to touch the ground. You know, blessings for the ups and the downs,
Yeah.
the frustrations and the difficulties, and
Mm.
God always gives us the patience to solve it. So I can never complain. I
One
can't
more
have a
again.
complaint about nobody.
One more again. Listen,
Yes, sir.
we got folks checking in. We see Mr. Cox in there, moderator extraordinaire. Hicks Senior's in the building, so the show is officially started. And hit the spot talking about we got commercials. Listen, we got sponsors, we got commercials, we got everything. Yeah, we big time. Somebody
Yeah,
need to Google Team No Sleep. Let Shannon Sharp
absolutely.
know. No, no, no.
Yeah, no, you're right. Let's Shannon. We want to slide. We want to sign with Club Shay
I'm
Shay.
waiting.
Let's make it
Listen, I'm
known.
trying to get some of his what do you got? Drambuie? No, his cognac.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I'm waiting on some of that, which you can't get anywhere on the planet because he's giving it away all on his podcast. I'm trying to get a bottle. So
There
if
we go.
anyone knows
There
how to
we
get
go.
in touch with Shannon Sharp, Shay Shay, so we can get some of that and have that on the show, let us know.
Yes,
Marvin
sir.
Stark is in the building. Appreciate you as well, sir. Listen, we got a handful of stories that we want to get into, talk about, uh, and see how y'all are doing. We want to go back on a story that we covered a couple of weeks ago. Just to recap, right? We tell you that we always follow these stories and we also always want to close the loop. So, Mel Tucker, Michigan State, ex football coach, come to find out that everything we heard is true. And he is officially fired, and everything that he was saying, he is said to have been doing on tape or in front of his assistants and people on the payroll at Michigan State. He is officially, how much was it? $58 million? He is
No,
vacated.
He left almost 90 million. He left a lot of
Okay,
money on
I
the
can't count
table.
that high, so I had to just
Yeah.
round down. But so we wanted to follow up on that. A 73-page report came out last week. No, actually today. Came out today talking about the hearing and talking about everything. So it's just sad situation about Mel Tucker there. He was on a decent trajectory at a good school, leading a decent program, and come to get caught up in some madness like this and some sexually harassment charges, and that's just a shame, man. So
It's sad because, like you said, he was in a position of power. You know, especially
mm,
as a minority in college football, which is head coaching jobs are very rare for minorities in the top Division I realm. It's not very many of them. So to be in that sorority and for him to be caught up in this situation, one gives a black eye to all of us because they group them all no matter what, no matter what you want to say. And the fact of the matter that he lost that position at a very dominant university, that he provided a lot of opportunities for a lot of young men. And now this, you got to think the effect of the people that he recruited and kids that he was working with.
yeah,
Now these allegations come out on them, come out. He's no longer the coach. This is a bad look all the way around. I mean, it's just as bad as Northwestern, right? Which they quiet that story a lot, big time, as you
talk about
notice.
that. Talk
They're not
about
talking
that.
about
Yeah,
it no more. But that sexual allegations and all those things are going over there really quiet that down. And Melvin Tucker now has been the kind of the poster boy of all these kind of situations that's going on as of late, which is kind of sad. Um, I don't know what to say. I mean, I really don't know what to say as far as what's the next steps for him. But I can tell you right now, no time in the near future will he have a coaching job, not at the high level at all. He'll have to
that's
take his
crazy.
pay out, whatever he got, and that's it. I don't think anyone would touch him because it's going to be a PR nightmare for that university.
So what does this do though, right? I mean, like Kevin's saying, especially at the Big Ten too. So like we're saying, high level. Now this is one of those things. Minority coach. This just sets us back 10 steps, right?
Yep.
Because there's that perception, right? We can say that it's not. We can say that it is, but we know that it is, right? This just is a perception thing. It's not going to set black coaches from being out there in these high profile positions at these high profile schools. This is just not a good thing.
Yeah, no, absolutely 1000%. I mean, it's not a good thing. I mean, we have to be better than the best, right, in order to get these jobs. And then you got to be better than the best to maintain those jobs. And then you got to also have success. You got to, Deion's in a situation where he's been better than the best and he's being successful. We have to be in that kind of situation in order to just obtain those jobs.
Yeah.
Now, once we get there, we got to set a strong example to make sure that we're able to stay and be sustainable in those positions. The coach at Notre Dame, the coach at Syracuse, now Prime we got there, and several other coaches that are there at the college rounds, they have to be in that situation in order to open the doors for the next person to be able to come along. We got to be better than the best, all the way around, on the field, off the field, and so on. I think it's just funny how the media, like I said, it's double standard. Like I said, Northwestern situation, which seems 10 times magnified, a lot worse than what's going on here. Accusations of raping players and all that kind of stuff, and hazing to the ninth power. That's being it was there for a flash and it's gone. Melvin Tucker now is kind of the spotlight poster child that's been blasted all everywhere. So I hate the double standard of the media, and I can't say anything, but it has to be some type of it's racial.
Yeah.
It has to be the color of our skin tone. It's nothing else. I mean, let's quit dancing around and saying there's other issues. No, you have Caucasian athletes, and them really there's a flash, there's a blur, right, on the news flash. It's a blur that's happening.
Yeah.
But when you have situations like this, it's plastered everywhere, right?
Plastered everywhere.
With his image, with his face. I mean, I saw every article. I've seen a lot of articles on that Northwestern. Not one time, twice, I saw his picture on the article, the head coach's picture. Otherwise, it just had Northwestern, the color, the team, others. They had different images going on. With him, Mel Tucker's face has been on every image that shows him in all these stories.
Right. He got his whole face, got his whole image plastered all across. And again, it's a perception thing. It's a longevity thing, because again, there's going to be second and third guessing now when someone else wants to go and apply for either that position, for another position, high ranking, highly visible position. So it's just bad all the way around. And time will hopefully
let's not forget, I think Michigan State really wanted him out. Not to excuse what he did. I'm not excusing what he did. But I'm telling you right now, I refuse to believe Melvin Tucker is the only head coach that has sexually harassed an employee, and it was swept under the rug in other programs.
Yeah,
it was dismissed at other programs. It wasn't plastered on out of there. Michigan State wanted to get rid of him because he wasn't winning. I can tell you right now, if he beat Michigan the last 2 years, and this story came out, they would have figured out a way to make sure that
they'd have found a way. They'd have found a way. That's true.
Yeah, we team no sleep. We keep it 100% honest. And this is my opinion only. I don't care what everyone say. I think if you would have figured out a way to beat Michigan State and beat Ohio State, this story would have never came up. They would have figured out a way to sweep it under the rug, pay whoever they had to pay off, make sure they got rid of it. The fact of the matter that he hasn't beat Michigan in the last 3 or 4 years, the fact that he hasn't beat Ohio State in the last 4 years, the fact that Michigan State hasn't been very relevant in the last 3 or 4 years under his helm. Hey, and we owe this man, 90-some-odd million? Hey, don't think it's by coincidence that they did this investigation and came up with a 73-page documentation to get him
very
fired.
Thorough, right? Very. See, that's the ugly side of the business piece, right? Yeah. We think it's all, the players and cheerleaders and the mascots and all of the pomp and circumstance right there. This is the ugly side of it, and you're right. It affects minorities. It affects people of color. It affects us more. And Mr. Cox here gets it. He says it's never good when situations happen like this with a person of power, but it is double whammy when it's a person of color, right? Because again, I don't know, man. So we'll see.
No, he's right.
I mean,
that's a great point.
Cox gets it right.
Great point. Yeah, he understands it's a double whammy when it's a minority, because unfortunately, the next person that looks like us or kind of resembles us comes in that door and interviews for that job. The perception of what was left behind is there. Like, we just can't automatically just blend into the masses and say it's going to be okay. Unfortunately, our skin color stands out. So we're persecuted not only by whatever we've done wrong, but also by our imagery is kind of reflective. I hate when these situations happen, because, like I said, I don't believe the next person that will get a opportunity to coach Michigan State will be African American.
Truth.
Even if he's the best person for the job.
Truth. Yep. Agreed. Unfortunately, agreed. Right, and it's that simple. But That's what we do, right? We follow up folks. We tell you that's what we're gonna do, and no one else, I don't think, really goes into that depth about some of these stories. So, shouts out to Montel Allen for opening up the kimono a little bit and going into it. Listen, okay, now let's get into another story here that we want to talk about, and social. This would be the social impact story that we want to get into, and this happened actually late last week after we were live, but. Okay, so we out in St. Louis now. St. Louis, we've had conversations about similar stories like this: youth athletics, youth sports, overzealous parents, and parents questioning playing time, parents not liking coaches for whatever. Here's a situation right here. Look at this story. St. Louis cancels the youth football team's entire season after a parent. And I don't like the word allegedly, because the man was shot because a parent shot the coach because the parent's child was not playing, in their mind, enough minutes during the game. Coach is all right. Coach obviously was in shock. This is a picture of the coach right here giving an interview to the local TV station in St. Louis. But this don't make no sense for the example that we as parents are showing, and trying to live vicariously through a dream that we didn't have, maybe because we wanted to be an athlete and we wanted to be D1 athlete, whatever the case may be. I'm reading into it. I'm not sure if that's actually the situation, but come on, this don't make no sense for a parent to be out there and saying that his child didn't play long enough in a game, has an altercation with the coach, shoots the coach. And now the domino effect of this is the city of St. Louis says, you know what? We're not going to let y'all play at all. So everyone is now negatively impacted by this particular situation. I'm going to hold what I want to say. Let me get your thoughts on this first, and everyone in the communities first. But I got something that I want to ask as we go into this conversation.
I'm appalled, first of all. Prayers for that coach, and I hope he gets better, get well, speedy recovery, what's going on. But you struck a kind of a chord when we said, like, a parent, a father or a parent that is overzealous on their child and they feel their child should be able to play more. I believe, me personally, if you feel that way about your child and he's not getting enough playing time, to put him on a different team, right? Take your child off, remove him from that team, put him on a different team where you feel he can do better. I've always told you, man, we talk football on the back end. Football is about systems, right? What systems you fit better.
Mm-hmm.
And someone's trash is another person's gold. I've seen players that people thought, they're not very good. They can't play. They're not very good, and they go on another team and they shine because they fit in the right system. We see at the highest level always at the NFL level all the time, right? Quarterback, right. They say he's horrible. He moves to another system, then he flourishes. And then, whoa, he's great. He's a comeback. No, he was always good. He just wasn't in the right system. I think it happens even in youth as well, especially when it's so many parents involved, right? So coach probably has a kid or had a kid that was involved, or coach has kids that he knows that are involved. So let's keep it real. There is favoritism in there. It is. There's favoritism in there. I'm going to play little Johnny over Bobby because I know Johnny's mama. Me and Johnny's mama's cool. Or I know Billy's uncle. Me and his dad is cool. So I'm going to make sure he gets enough playing time and all that. And sometimes kids get lost in the shuffle. But at one point where we have to be adults, right? Regardless of how much I want my son to play, regardless of the situation, and I can have that discussion with the coach and we can disagree. But then my disagreement is like, give me my money back and I'll put my son on another team. That's the answer. I'll put him on another team where I feel he'll get a suitable opportunity. It happens in high school all the time nowadays, right? Kids aren't playing. They go, the parents transfer to another school so they can play. Why do you think we have the situation in college football now? Hey, my kid's not playing. He wants to play. Give him an opportunity to go transfer and play somewhere else.
Right.
So it happens everywhere else. You have the opportunity. We have choices. That's why we're in America, right? We're not over in Ukraine somewhere where we don't have choices.
Mm-hmm.
We have choices. So if you don't like the choice that you made at first, you have the right to revoke your choice and go play somewhere else and do something. But you do not have the right to go shoot a man because you have a disagreement with him. That's called being a punk and a bully and whack. That's just whack. Because you disagree with the coach, what he says, doesn't mean you get the right to put your hands on him. You just have the right to remove your child and go somewhere else and play. Because I don't expect that adult that volunteers his time, that volunteers his hours, that puts in all that effort to do all the things you're going to do. And the fact that you're going to tell him how you're supposed to run his team. No, if you want to do that, then come be a part of the staff, and then you can have some say-so what goes on. But until you're willing to volunteer your time to do all that, you need to shut up, be on the sideline, or remove your son to take you somewhere
and show some support, right? Because I mean that goes back to the thing of umpires for basketball, for baseball, for all these sports, football, and all this as well. You know, they're out there volunteering their time after they get off work, away from their own family, and they're not getting paid, if anything, maybe some mileage, and they're going. Yeah, there's some favoritism and all this, but they're going to try to put the best product out there on the field, regardless.
Yeah, everybody wants to win, so you should be trying to put the best product out there on the field. Yeah,
and a parent should be teaching. How are we going to tell somebody how to raise their own kids? Well, you know, a parent should be teaching their child and leading by example. The question that I wanted to ask you, because it's not even in this story, I can only imagine how the kid of that parent feels.
Defending his father? I can tell you right now, he's defending his father. He's going to say, my daddy was right. My daddy was fighting my thing. Because and I'm going to tell you right, he's supposed to defend his father. You know why? Because that's his child. Right or wrong, we can say it's right or wrong from the outside looking in. This man is raising this young man to be like him, feeding him every day, loving him every day. And he did that. Regardless of what we want to think, he reacted away because he loves his son. He thought he was defending his son. Obviously, we think it's in the wrong manner, but he was. That young man loves his father. Loves him to death. So, right, wrong, or indifferent, he's standing by his dad. I would hope my son would be the same way. I would hope your son would be the same way.
Yeah.
Now,
okay.
He may say, my daddy was wrong, but that's my dad. I don't care. He's wrong. Fine, but I'm still rocking with my father. So I don't think his psyche is messed up because of his dad's actions. But you asked the question, how do you think he's supporting? He's still supporting his father.
Yeah, I think my question is cloudy because I agree with you from that perspective, right? Again, a kid, especially any age, but at a youth sports level, yeah, I'm a rock with my dad, and dad can't do any wrong. But I can just only imagine like going to class now, right? And saying all the kids brutal, right? I mean, your daddy was the one who shot the coach, and you know, what does all of that negative attention, that negative effect have on someone who's 8, 9, 10, 11 years old in elementary school or in junior high school? And he has to ride with that all day, 8 to 2 o'clock at class, and then try to go home. Yeah, I love my dad, and yeah, I respect him and all this, and I look up to him. He's my hero. But man, from 8 to 2, I'm catching heat, and it's just a weird balance. And I worry, and I've been thinking about what the kid was going through. But I understand what you're saying as well. But there's still kind of a mental psyche thing about, again, I'm catching this flack.
I think you're right. There's a mental capacity to it that he has to endure and get thick-skinned, right? Because there's going to be teased.
Yeah.
And people are going to talk about him. He's going to have to develop that thick skin and develop that defense mechanism within.
Who's going to want to play with him? Who's going to want to play with him? Who's going to want that kid on their team now?
Well, bottom line, he's not going to be able to play youth football no more. The sport that he loves, he's not going to play because they're going to say, no, you're getting not allowed to play. Yeah. And I think even when he gets to the high school level, they'll probably be skeptical. If your father's in that situation that does that, or it'll be a situation you can play, but your dad is banned. He cannot be part of the game or whatnot like that. It may be those scenarios, and unfortunately, his dad put him in that situation. I believe kids are resilient. I think he'll be resilient enough to get out of it. We've all been in a because regardless of what we think, the story's going to die down eventually. It will. It'll die down. He'll still have his core friends after they tease him a little bit and go on, and they'll poke fun at it from time to time, but he'll move on. I think right now he just has to endure the heat because kids are probably mad. Parents are probably mad. You know, parents don't know how to handle it. They'll probably say something slick to him and just walk away. Your daddy calls us to lose the football season and all kinds of stuff.
And that's out of line too. But
that's out of line too. But he'll have to endure all that. But I think he'll be resilient enough, and hopefully he has some people in his life to be like, you know what, it wasn't your fault. You know, your dad just made a bad mistake, and you got to move on. Just be tough. It's gonna be okay. If people are in his life like that, I don't think it'd affect him that much. I think more so not just that. I hope he didn't get a chance to witness his dad pulling the trigger on him.
Yeah.
That part, that's a whole different psychological thing going on.
And we're just reading into it, folks, because all of those details aren't in this story. And I think that's just to protect the innocence of the kids and the son in and of himself. But man, just think about all of that stuff right there. If the kid was there when dad shot the coach, the visual of that, having to absorb.
That's what that was.
I'm living through the eyes of the kid right now when I think about this story.
What's that called? PTSD.
Post-traumatic stress disorder, right?
That's
Yeah.
one of those situations. If that's the case, if
Yeah.
he witnesses his dad pulling the trigger on the coach, he has some type of those issues,
Yeah.
because you can move it all the way to the back of your head all you want, but those things are subconsciously be there that you saw those types of things. That's just man, reading, looking at that story and understanding, man, it's, to me, we know the Talib Khalib, his
Yeah.
brother shot the
Yeah.
coach, and now he's doing time. This man then shot this coach and injured him. I'm more concerned where are we at as fathers,
There
right?
we go. That's where I was going.
Where are we at
we
as
on
fathers?
we on the same path, because that's exactly where I was going with this, right? We got to get deeper conversation.
Yeah. Me and you both we've had kids that played the little league and all that, and I've had disagreements with coaches, and I always feel my son should be the better player and blah blah this and blah. We've all been a part of that. But it's only ended there at a disagreement, right? It's ended at a disagreement. Like, hey, I don't agree with you. We don't agree with you. And my choices were, like I told you before, I can either keep him in there, or I can have the choice to remove him and put him on a different team to participate. And better yet, if I really feel that way, why don't I go coach a team? And that way my son can play all the time. Right? I can be the coach. Now nobody can say anything.
Yeah.
But
he's starting wide out. He's starting quarterback and everything. He playing all positions.
Yeah. So if that's the case, if I really feel that passionate about it, why don't I do that? Where is it that we have to go hurt another man to try to prove our point about our child's play? And I'm saying that specifically because all these situations have happened in African American neighborhoods. Mm-hmm. African American men shooting another African American man over his son not getting a chance. So we just lost 3 people in these whole situations. We lost the coach who's an African American man. We lost the person that shot to pull the trigger, and that child that is affected has been a victim now of some scrutiny that we can't even imagine. So they're all caught up in this bubble, in this triangle now, based on one man's actions over something that is youth football. Nobody makes it to the NFL in youth football. No one. Now, there's not been one person. No one does anything out of youth football. Matter of fact, youth football doesn't even guarantee us college scholarship, anything.
It does not. Here, we are at the ages of 5 and 13. They don't even know what they want to do yet, right? Pop Warner youth. This isn't even their passion as of yet. They may really like it, but yeah, at the ages of 5 and 13, come on, they running backwards on the field like I was when I was playing football.
It's participation and having fun.
It's
regardless of what people say, they can make it competitive if they want, but it's participation and having fun. Now, I'm as competitive as anybody in the world. I always want to win. Matter of fact, I told my son today, I hate losing more than I like winning.
Yeah.
I'll say it one more time. Yeah. I hate to lose more than I enjoy the win.
Boy, Ellen, come and win it, boy.
No, I'm very competitive. I'm very competitive, but I'm not competitive to the point where it's going to be damaging to myself or my family. Right? At the end of the day, we need to step back. It's a game. It is a game, especially at that. There's no value in it. I'm paying this organization $400 for my son or my daughter to participate in a sport. That's all it is. That's it. That's the end. There's no scholarships on point. There's no money involved. There's no going to the NFL. None of that's involved. This ain't even that competitive. I mean, it's competitive, but it's not competitive to the point where it's damaging. So the fact that we got these black men shooting other black men over something as minuscule as your son's playing time, there's no way in the world you could justify that. There's nothing to justify. Nothing. You're 100% wrong. And matter of fact, us as black men, we're to the point where we need to work on our anger management, because how do I get so angry at a person that I want to shoot them over a youth football game? No, I mean, are we missing some kind of mental psyche? Are we doing something? I mean, something's off, man. Something's off.
I actually think that I think we didn't mess around and got soft. Society, people, just as a whole, because again, if the only way to deal with situations is to go out there and try to possibly lethally harm someone without having the discussion, without talking about it, without even going to the field and pulling up your knuckles and fighting someone like we used to do back in the day, right? If you have to feel that you have to pull out a revolver and shoot somebody, then I think we have just gotten soft, and obviously not in a good way. Mm-hmm. That's my thought. I think that the men aren't actually men. Y'all can fight me if y'all want to as well, but I think this is just a very cowardly excuse for an action for someone who calls themselves a father. I'm sure 80% of the time this person does a decent job or a good job, but this 5% when he was out there, his 10-year-old kid didn't get enough playing time. Why has he got a gun at the game anyway? Right.
That's one. Yeah, that's one thing. Yeah.
Right. So what we know why has he got a gun at the game and then ends up shooting his son's coach? So let me go before you go into it, I want to get into these comments, man, because Marvin was saying some things. Don't have to worry about dad at games anytime soon. He's going away. Completely agree with that. Kevin was saying this happens in all types of neighborhoods, not just African American neighborhoods. That's just the ones that the media picks up on and talks about. Truth on that, man. I don't know, man. You hit on something really good though.
Yeah, I want to see. I haven't seen the story. I know there's a story report. I really haven't seen it where it happens in Caucasian neighborhoods. The only incident I've ever seen, I've seen there's a soccer incident in LA where the two teams fought, but I haven't seen not one story that there was a Caucasian parent that was upset and went and shot the Caucasian coach. God. I haven't seen it. And if I'm missing the story, please send it over to me, and I'll be the first one to apologize to everybody.
Listen, we'll talk about it, right? This is the platform.
I'll be the first one to apologize and pardon my ignorance. And maybe you're right. Maybe media isn't covering it, but media, there's got to be a story because they're gonna cover anything that harms the child.
Yes,
this is detrimental to the child. We've had this situation happen in Oakland with people doing drive-by shootings. We had the incident in Texas. Now we have an incident in St. Louis, and I believe there was another incident somewhere else where an 8-year-old youth player got killed as well. I think it was in Georgia. So we're dealing with a situation now where parents' anger issues and all that problem are now starting to affect everything. And gun seems like the only violent answer they want to have instead of either discussing it or agreeing to disagree and walk away from the situation.
Coward.
That's sad.
Coward.
We're at a point now that these grown-ass men can't agree to disagree and remove themselves from the situation. Okay, my son's not getting playing time. Okay, you already expressed you're not going to play him no more. Fine, give me my money back and I'll put my son on another team.
Let me go to another league. Let me go to another team. Yes.
It's that simple. There's no argument. Or a better way yet, I want to apply. I'm going to coach next year and my son will be on my team next year and then I can work out the whole thing. Because it's like I said, those guys volunteer and they work for nothing. They're doing all those situations. And now you're going to go shoot him because he disagrees with you? Come on, man. I mean, we got to do better. I mean, and I'll quote Mr. Fab in Oakland that got his thug therapy thing. He got that thing going on. We as young men got to do better.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've gotten better being fathers. We got better in holding our responsibility. That's not enough. We still got to do more. As African American men raising our children and being productive in our community, we have to do more. Being there is just not enough no more. Being there just to provide for your child is not enough no more. If you want to be an active role model,
that's the bare minimum, right? Yeah, that's the bare minimum. And being vocal is a huge thing, right? And so I'm a plug, I think, for us right here on this, just so y'all bear witness to this. I was actually talking to my daughter and my wife last night about the situations in the Middle East, right? And feeling down and feeling concerned and feeling depressed. But you said, you know what? But what we can do and what we are doing is staying vigilant and staying active and staying vocal, right? Yeah, we can vote and that has whatever connotations and that has whatever effect on. But by having conversation, like Montel and I come on here and do every Wednesday, it raises a level of awareness and it makes somebody think. And I think, but way I'm tying this into what you just said, that's what we're doing to hopefully bring some enlightenment, to bring some insight, to bring at least have the conversation about trying to do better and trying to get better. Right? I'd feel horrible. I'd feel remiss if we weren't actually out here talking about these hard conversations and making people maybe upset in the comments, upset in the replay or whatever the case may be, regardless of the story. The Middle East conflict, homelessness here in California or across the whole nation, parents shooting coaches, all these situations and all these conversations that we talk about, especially on this platform, man, I'm tired of talking about these situations and these stories, but that's the only way I think that one of the ways that we're going to get better. As a society, I think it's one of the ways that we're going to get better is by at least raising the conversation, not letting them slip to the back page of the newspaper.
And I also think it's therapeutic, right? I think it's therapeutic in the sense that we're able to kind of release our frustrations and talk about what's going on and kind of have the open dialogue. I hope people out there, audience, does the same thing. They have an open dialogue and talk about these things because I think it's very prevalent and very important to our young. Like you said, I talked to my daughters about what's going on in the Middle East as well.
Mm-hmm.
Well, things I disagree with and I agree with.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'll ask them to form their own opinion. You know, please form your own opinion about what's going on so you can understand, have a better understanding. Just don't go by what I'm saying.
Side note, what's crazy is the IG story you sent me was exactly the statements that I mentioned to them. I'm not going into it right here on this show.
Yeah, that's a different show. That's a different show. But I'm saying,
everything that you sent me is exactly how I felt and how the conversation went. Okay.
So I just think, man, things got to be talked about, right? You have to talk about it. I get frustrated, like you said, when I see a black man shooting another black man, especially over something that could just be avoided. It could be avoided. It really can. It can be avoided. And granted, your child's involved, and I know your emotions run high, but it can be avoided. I had a situation with my son. My son in his high school, him and his high school coaches wasn't vibing. They weren't vibing at all. At all. I talked to the coach. I told the coach, hey, please don't do that again. You know, he doesn't like it. Could you please, you know, when it comes to that situation, just kind of let it be. They did it again. What we did, we just removed it. All right, man, we'll transfer him to another school. He doesn't feel playing for you. I'm not gonna sit here and keep arguing with you. We're good. You don't like what he's doing, or you blame him for X, Y, and Z, fine. We'll remove him from the situation and give him a fresh start somewhere else. Because at the end of the day, if it keeps escalating, then I'm going to defend my son in a physical way that hasn't. But my conversation with you was like, okay, you don't want to do it, let's just remove it. And we haven't had any problems since. It's been resolved.
So hold that right there, because I want to get into this, and we're gonna go a little bit further. We're not gonna beat this horse or anything, but Kevin is saying, and this is a good statement here, but if the parent who's causing the problem takes themselves with them to the next place, and it is the same situation, what's the answer then? What's that teaching the kid? That's a good, valid point there, right? I mean, just because we're mad, we're upset with where we are right now, and we say we try to remove ourselves to go someplace else. Is that parent still going to have that same energy? Is that parent still going to have this? So, I mean, that's wishful thinking.
That's a reality that can happen. I agree, that's a reality that can happen. But you would hope that the parent and the kid learn from that situation as they move on to kind of better handle themselves and better take care of situations that are not favorable in their decision. Like me, the one thing I can do with my son, like even when we decided to transfer, and I can speak transparent about it, when my son decided to transfer from high school to another high school, I told him, when you make the decision, it's your decision. You have to live with it, good, bad, or indifferent. You know, if it doesn't go the way you want to, unfortunately, too bad, you got to finish it. Same thing in college. Hey, when you chose your college and you decided to go into college when you had several different offers, whether you like it or not, once you make that decision, you got to stick it through and uphold your obligation when it comes to it. And my son has. He's graduating in December. He does the things. He makes sure he holds the obligation. My daughter, same thing. When you choose a sport you play, you have to uphold your obligations, good, bad, and different. At the end of the day, it's your decision. I'll support you what you do. I'll aid you on what you have to do. I'll make sure we go. But you got to sort your decision. At that point, when I support your decision, then now my actions are going to be a lot different than when they were before. Because before I was defending you and removing you from the problem. Now you go to another place and it's still a problem. Well, the problem just ain't the coach that you have a problem with. Obviously, you got to look in the mirror and it's you. As a kid, you're either being spoiled, you're not working hard, you're not doing what the coach asks you to do. I have enough aptitude to understand that. If you get to the second situation, it's the same thing, and you have problems with it. It ain't the coach, it's you.
Man,
it's you.
Boy, you speaking truth.
But in that situation, though, most parents don't ask themselves that. Why they don't put themselves in. They always want to just be quick to defend all the time. You know, I've never had a problem. I've never had a problem with playing time. If my son wasn't playing or my daughter's not playing, I don't argue with the coach about playing time. What I do have a conversation with about is, what can they do to get better? And if they hold it, and if they do everything you ask them to do to get better, then I want to say, okay, then how come they're not getting an opportunity to showcase their talent?
Yeah.
Those are the discussions I've always had with every coach. I never question the coach what he's going to do, why I'm not playing this much now. I may disagree with some of the things they're doing,
right?
But I've never had a conversation where I'm saying, hey, coach, my son ain't playing enough. 1, 2, 3, what's going on? Blah, 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 blah. It's never been that situation. It's always been an incident that happens that goes along. Now, I believe every situation is not right for every kid. It's not. Yeah. Some situations aren't right for a kid. It's just not right. So they have to be removed and placed somewhere else where they could try to become successful and whatnot. I think that's okay. That's an okay thing to do as a parent because you want to protect your child and make sure they have fun. But you also have to be very, very honest with your situation, right?
Yeah,
And I
you
think
do the
a lot
Michael
of people
Jackson,
have
do the
a hard
man in the
time.
mirror, right? Okay.
Yeah, a lot of people have a hard time being very, very honest with themselves and with their kids. Everybody thinks their kid is the best. They always think their kid is the best basketball player, best football player, the best this. No, your son is not the best football player on the team. And no, they're not going to be the next Dr. Michael Jordan on the court.
Yeah.
That's not it. But my kid can't play very good, and I can't put him in a situation where he's going to be able to play and have fun and hopefully develop some more. Those are okay. Nothing wrong with that. But I think you have to be honest, very honest with the situation. And honesty is not just defending them and then going to shoot some coach because you have a disagreement with him. The best way to do it is, hey, coach, is he going to play? No, he's not going to play. Why is he going to play? He's not good enough to play. Okay, fine. I'm going to either coach my own team or I'm going to remove him at the youth level. I'm going to remove him, put him on the team, or I'm going to go coach my own team, and then I don't have these issues anymore.
So we bring up the what, and a lot of folks are asking about the how, right? Again, how to rectify and how to correct the situation. And you brilliantly went through that just now. Equip Institute, Florence was saying, missing problem solving and critical thinking results, not showing our kids these skills. She said you demonstrated problem solving and showing your son the same, right? So again, we talked about the what, we talked about the situation, and I can just guarantee, and I was going to ask it anyway, throw salt in the wound and say, so how do we do better? How do we fix this? And the explanation that you just went through, there's the action item, and there's the homework, folks, right there. Right? There's always going to be a call to action around here on Team No Sleep. So man,
I appreciate the compliment, but I mean, I just think that's just being a person, man. I mean, we just gotta do better amongst each other, man. I mean, for real. We're so quick to argue with someone or be dismissive of someone, especially when they look like us, or you think you know better than them instead of just listening a little bit and then coming to a mutual agreement, right? And the mutual agreement may not be in your favor. That's life, though. That's real life.
Imagine that.
And we need to show our kids the better way on how to discuss things, talk to them, and something. And some of the things parents don't need to get involved in. It should be the child asking those questions.
Come on now.
Let's keep it 100%.
Leave them helicopter parents alone. Come on now.
Yeah. Before I would ever intervene with my kid, I would tell you, you need to go talk to the coach. Ask him why you're not playing. Ask him why you're not getting in. Ask him. You need to ask him in situations. Be an adult person. Ask, can I sit down for you for a few minutes? And can I ask you some questions, coach? And take their feedback. Now, once they give you your feedback, you take it to heart and you do what they ask you to do. And now they're not playing you. That's a different scenario. That's a different situation, especially if you're excelling in it. But that question needs to be asked first by the child. Whether you're 5 to you're 50, that needs to be answered by the person that's participating first. Then, as a parent, I think then you need to have those conversations or send that email or whatnot after the child has did that, because that teaches our child wants to be responsibility for his actions and ask for constructive feedback.
Mm-hmm. Now you talk about folks. Now, see, now we gonna get the stream shut down again, right?
Yeah, man, they can take it any way they want to, man. It's just the honest truth. Why? That's another question. Before we spawn off to the next story, why are our kids have such a hard time taking criticism and feedback nowadays? Like, why do we critique them or we do anything? It's such a heartfelt thing. Like, it's so detrimental to the world that we're giving you constructive feedback, not for you to make you worse, but to make you a better, whatever you're doing. Whatever you're doing, somebody will give you feedback to make you better. No one's ever gave anyone feedback to make them a worse person or a worse player or a worse participant. But if you give these kids feedback, or you critique them on what they're doing,
mm-hmm.
they get very, very upset. And I ain't talking about one guy. I would say if it's just mine. It ain't just mine. I've seen that on many parents, many of kids, many of YouTubes. Parents and somebody or a coach give this kid's feedback, and their first thing is to shut down, be upset, be mad, and not want to do it. We've seen it in all these little YouTube classroom clips when kids want to fight and all that, and the teacher says something. Everybody's just giving them criticism to get better. Hey, can you do your homework? This is the way you need to do it. You can't tell me what to do, blah, blah. We got to disconnect. Whoever said that comment to me, I wish they would explain where is that disconnect coming from. Because last time I checked, criticism and feedback are nothing but instructions to get you better.
So
regardless of
so
how harsh they are.
okay. So let me put it this way. So the two folks that are leaving those comments are professionals in kind of the field of
Yes.
problem solving and things like that. So Florence and I see Kevin, going back and forth with some statements. Let's have that conversation. Let's have that dialogue, right? Kids struggle with it because parents can't take the feedback themselves. Okay, where did that happen? Right? Well,
Yeah.
listen, I'll be 54 in a couple of days. Right. And you and I, the generation that we grew up in, we could take,
Got
had
to.
either had the home training. I'm trying to find the right words to say, right. We had the home training, we had the common sense, we had whatever, and we weren't soft like that in terms of I can't take someone saying something negative about me or right. We used to play the dozens. We used to play, we used your mama jokes. All
Mhm.
it may not have been proper, it may not have been right, but again, we had the thick skin to be able to take criticism, feedback, different opinions, and things like that, without again having to result to a lethal means of addressing it and dealing with it, or going out stabbing someone, or going out and shooting someone, or going out there and blowing up. Right? We didn't have to go to that extreme. Where did it change? What happened? Was it technology? Was it social media? Was it access to information all the time? Was it one versus two parents in the house? I'm just throwing stuff out there because I don't know.
Some of those I can point to, but I can't blame it on those things because I come from a single parent household. I got my ass whooped when I did wrong.
Mhm.
Period. That sit in the corner ain't gonna work. You're gonna take this ass whooping and go do what I told you what to do. I came from that kind of cycle. These kids that are shooting these other kids, they're the generation below us. They're our kids. They're our kids.
Yeah.
So where did the softness come from, as you're saying, or where did this disconnect come from? Because I'm having a hard time understanding, man, why the first result, you can't take criticism, and when you're upset, your instant result is to lethal.
Right.
It ain't discussing it. It ain't talking it. It ain't fighting. It's lethal. I don't know where any of that comes from at all.
Is it
That part right there, I'm lost.
All right, so maybe this may be controversial as well. Maybe it's our entertainment, right? Because again, some of our video games, some of our music.
Man.
So again, I like to throw salt on wounds and just have a conversation. Is it the fact that we got different music that we listen to? We grew up
with the worst, so-called the worst music, the '90s hip hop, right? We grew up with the NWAs, the Sally Sales, and the crack era. We grew up with all that, and we listened to all that. Matter of fact, we saw all of it, and some of us was involved with some of it.
True. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm not gonna blame it on entertainment. Entertainment is just a reflection of what reality is. If people have a problem with reality, then they're in a warped world. I think it's up to us as parents or people that are elderly to educate them and let them know it's entertainment. My son, my daughters, they watch BMF, they watch Power. It's entertainment.
Mm-hmm.
Let them more. That doesn't mean they're gonna go out and do it. My thing is, where does that breaking connection as far as, hey, I can take criticism, feedback. I can have a healthy conversation with somebody, and if I don't agree, I can agree to not agree and move on. I can have a healthy conversation with them. They critique me. Guess what? I'm pissed off. I'm mad. So I'm a pop. Where did our reasoning or our critical thinking, as someone said before, where did that go away? And it's a reflection, like I said, it's our generation's seeds that are doing it. It's 25-year-old, 30-year-olds that are doing it. That's when I had my first baby when I was 17 years old. That would be my son's age right now, the person that would be doing it. So that I'm lost, man, because it's not just it's a generation, and we're seeing it everywhere, right? We're seeing it happen in Oakland, we're seeing it happen in St. Louis, we're seeing it happen in Texas, we're seeing it happen in Detroit, New York, Atlanta. We got a generation of lost people that now are adults, which is it's crazy to me.
So I'm gonna say this, and then we'll continue to move on. But I love the fact that we're having this conversation, because maybe we'll come back and have a separate conversation, because like Florence is saying, being in a society where everyone wins all the time, when that happens, folks do not develop that thick skin. So you say we've got a generation that's lost, but I'm gonna add on to that, they may be lost, but it's not too late.
No, I never
Right.
said it's too late. I agree
Okay.
with you on that
So
one.
they may be lost and they may be going through struggles and they may be influenced by whatever that's out there, these negative connotations and like that. But it's not too late. And if there are kids, then I'm gonna say we own the responsibility to that. Because
Well,
when you and I grew up, yeah, we had our parents, we had our grandparents, we had uncles, we had kind of that whole diverse and full family dynamic. I wonder if kids of today don't have as much of that. Maybe good or bad, right? People have moved from where they grew up or whatever. I just don't know if that family unit is as cohesive today, and maybe it is. I'm again just throwing stuff out there to have the conversation.
no,
But
you, you,
yeah,
you know,
go ahead,
you
go
know,
ahead.
no, no, no. You struck, man. You hit a nerve, and you know
Okay.
what? When you said about the entertainment thing, I think I'll take it another way. Entertainment is a problem of it, and I think it's the guys that look at to in sports and entertainment. The ones when they do have them having the reality part, not the movie part, not the fictional, character part when it's in the movie. I'm talking about when we see an artist with a gun, or hip hop artist with a gun, and he done shot somebody and he got away with it, or
Mm-hmm.
Young Thug was in there for doing this stuff, and
Mm-hmm.
these kids love them and emulate them so much. And then we see athletes with guns. I hate to keep Big John Morant having a gun and listen to the Little Dirk. I think all those have some type of influence, especially when we use the phrase "kids raising kids." Right? When young kids that are 16 has a kid now, and now they're 32, and their kid is 16, and they both listen to Little Dirk or listening to what's her
Mm-hmm.
name
Yeah.
or Mozzie or whoever that's that influence. I mean, especially if it's raised by a single parent. Mama's ideal of a cute or a handsome entertainer is Lil Wayne, and she thinks he's all the world. Guess what her child is going to look up to be? Who is going to emulate to be? Is someone like Lil Wayne. And you got to take the good and the bad. He's going to be a rapper and do all that, but if he's sipping lean, guess what? He's going to emulate who he thinks his hero is.
Yeah.
Sips lean.
Right.
So maybe we do have maybe entertainment is a big piece of that, man. And I didn't mean to say it wasn't, but now the
No,
more that I
hey,
think
that's
about
what we do, right?
it,
We have this
yeah.
conversation, and so that
And no
goes.
disrespect to those artists. Wait, no
Yeah.
disclosure.
Yeah.
No disrespect to those artists. I'm just,
Yeah.
you guys were the first ones to come to my mind, and then you're involved in that lifestyle. So
Listen, I got more Wayne on my gym sound playlist than anybody else right now. And Rich Vibes in here. No, I don't have any R. Kelly in my playlist, but because I saw him made a comment about that. So let's ask or answer this last question, and then we'll move on to that. David Hunt's in the building. How do we fix it? How do we get not just the kids? I think he's inferring the kids, but I'm gonna say even the adults, even like the father who's going out there shooting the coach. How do we get them to value life? And I don't even know if we can answer that question. I don't have the expertise to answer that, but again, that's the question right there.
I think we do it every week when we end our show, when we tell them to go check on a loved one and make say prayers for other people and check on the ones you love. Just that that's the way you give value to life, right? That's the way you see you value someone's life, or you value someone's opinion and respect and all that stuff. I think, me personally, I think within our community, we put so much on respect, right? Respect. I think respect sometimes is overrated as far as the term. If you deem someone's disrespecting you, you gotta handle it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Whereas if you've seen someone just made a mistake or said something, you can't hash it out and talk about it like men, or just stay away from each other. We learn that as we get older, right?
Yeah.
We learn that as we get older. But this younger generation, it just seems, or these younger kids, is just they put more value on the term or the terminology of respect than they do on someone's life. I'd rather for you to not apologize for stepping on my shoes, so I'm gonna put a cap in you because I'm gonna show that you gotta respect me, instead of just saying, bro, it's $100 pair of shoes, we can get another one and keep it moving. It ain't even that serious. If he don't want to say excuse me, then let's just not mess with dude no more. I think we just somehow we got warped in this mindset, right? And I'll blame some of it on hip hop, because hip hop is a problem with that. But more so than hip hop, I blame it on the executives of hip hop, because they push that poison to our kids without an alternative of a balance, right? When we were young, we had a balance: conscious hip hop, bad hip hop.
Yeah.
Now it's all money, drugs, sex, guns, hip hop. Period. 24/7 in their ear, and that's what they push to listen to. So we already know if you hear something repetitively over and over again, it starts becoming your conscious. I think that's part of it. The culture we brought to life is the gangster prison culture that we brought into our hip hop community.
Yeah.
So that's all there. We've already had the gang involvement already involved in it, and that just got propaganda to be pushed to the forefront instead of everything else. So all those things are influences, and then you got to have that with, you know, lack of resources, lack of education in some of these situations, and you put everybody on top of each other. You just built a gumbo for a disaster. I hate to say it, but that's the way it is.
That's the way it is. Cox is saying that let's agree to disagree, move our separate ways. And sometimes it's the old turning of the cheek. Is do what Jesus did, do what Martin Luther the King did. You know, just try not to.
But it ain't got to be soft like that. Just be like, yo, man, fine. Oh, you know what, James? You know what? I don't do what you do.
I think that's actually more of a conscious, more of an adult decision to make. Say, so. You know what, listen, bro. Okay, we cool. It's not that serious, man. I mean, just to make that move. I want to bring up Marvin's comment, then we'll move on. He says, "Let the coaches coach. If you can't reason with the coach, adjust to the coach's way or move your child." And that's kind of what we're saying, right? So, where am I? Shake your hands of it, man. Appreciate everyone that's coming through. Listen, RESP, boy, you flash it back with some old Aretha there.
Aretha on there, yeah.
That's good stuff. That's all right, man. Okay, here go the next story, y'all. We gonna I don't know what we're gonna talk about. Hold on. Before we get into this story, yeah, let's go and talk about it. Let me get my hat on right. So Dwight Howard, y'all know he used to play for who? He played for the Lakers. Where else was he? He was somebody.
Orlando Magic.
All right, he was all right. He's all right.
Atlanta. He played in Atlanta too.
That's where he was. He was in Atlanta. Shouts out to Atlanta. Shouts out to my folks out there in Atlanta.
Tall boy. What's happening with
Tall boy. Hit the spot 10:06. Let me know when you get your package, player. Let me know because I sent her a package. You're gonna get some things. Dwight Howard is in the news for a story that he don't want to be in the news for. Dwight Howard denies sexual assault allegations and wants a lawsuit dismissed. I'm not going to read all the details, but I'm going to tell you what, we're going to go into the details. I'll put the link in the description for y'all on this. Apparently, and I did not notice about Dwight Howard. Apparently, Dwight Howard got caught up in a situation where he had some sexual encounters and they were filmed by the gentleman he was having sex with. I'm letting that pause and letting that marinate.
The way you paused it, that's what you said.
I'm just gonna let that marinate. So again, Dwight Howard got caught up in a situation where he was having a sexual encounter, and they were filming it and messed around, and the film got out. And the film of Dwight Howard and the gentleman that he was having a sexual encounter with is not something he wanted public. I don't care which way you go. But I didn't notice about Dwight Howard. But you know what? This kind of explains some things about him, because when he, just like we were saying, this is why we were a couple of minutes late, y'all, going live, talking about this right here. Because when Dwight and Kobe got into the little altercation, Dwight, listen, you can't be rolling up on Kobe acting crazy. But now I see you. I don't know. So your thoughts on this story? Let's just start at the top. Let's start 35,000 foot level. Dwight Howard denies sexual assault allegations. He wants this lawsuit removed. Let's see. It says Howard first began corresponding over direct messages on IG, because that's where the some of the pictures were posted of the two gentlemen together. What are we going to say about this? Is Dwight Howard even relevant? Is he still relevant? I think he's over in Korea or China right now playing.
He's just trying to for the Warriors, so I'm not sure where
no, he ain't coming back. No, I saw some commercials that he did. I think he's in China doing some things. He's making his overseas basketball money.
My question is the assault part. Okay, that's the part that I'm not understanding. The assault, like I thought. Before you go into it, my definition of assault is you physically harm somebody, right?
Yeah.
This more is like extortion for a film, from at least the part that I read. He's trying to extort him or whatever, and he wants it dismissed. So I'm kind of confused where the assault part is. I don't care about your sexual preference. That's
Right.
his personal business. What you do behind closed doors is your business, Dwight. Keep
You
on
shouldn't be
trucking
filming it,
whatever you do.
but you don't
Yeah,
don't be. What you got the camera for? Okay, let me leave that alone
yeah.
too.
But my part, I'm confused what the assault part is. What the sexual assault? I mean, he didn't. It was mutual, right? I think it was mutual consent, and the guy got the film, and like you said, he released the photos, and then he's threatened to release the film and all that other good stuff. But I thought that's more extortion than anything, right? Please
That's
clarify.
so. There you go, right there. That's what I think this is. Again, regardless of who you go underneath the covers with, and underneath the sheets with, here it is. What was a private consensual encounter was made public for profit, and Mr. Howard looks forward to bringing the truth to light in the court of law. Says Dwight's attorneys. The allegations are contested. Mr. Howard intends to present the truth, and the truth is Mr. Howard blocked Mr. Harper on social media and then was confronted with two options: pay to protect his reputation or have a fabricated story made public.
So that's extortion. It's not sexual assault.
That's what it is, right? But again, man, again, I didn't know this side of him.
Before you go there, hold on. Before you go there,
because I want to go there. I want to go there.
That's a very misleading title of the story, because he didn't sexually assault someone. Sexually assault that makes me think that you either raped somebody, or you physically hurt somebody. You did something, or you took sex unwillful, from an unwilling partner.
What's funny about that? So listen, honestly, and I'm gonna cut you off. What's funny about what you just said right there? I have it written down right here. I kind of was setting you up because because this story is in other places, but the fact that it's from ESPN,
mm-hmm.
and again, that's the headline, and then you see the part that I got highlighted right there, really speaks a whole different story. Right.
Yeah,
you go from arguably, quote unquote, the leader in sports news and entertainment, saying that sexual assault allegations. Here I am reading the fourth paragraph down, and you can tell blatantly and outright that this is an extortion attempt against. You don't have to like him. You don't have to like how he plays. You don't like his commercials. You don't have to like his jokes. Whatever. But this ain't right. This ain't right. Don't do the man dirty like this.
That's not right at all, man. I think, I read some captions about it. I didn't get a chance to read the whole story in depth. But I mean, even before we was going to talk about it, I was like, this sounds like more of an extortion situation than it was a sexual assault. So why are they painting this picture now of Dwight Howard, regardless if you agree with a sexual lifestyle, sexual preference at all? Why are you painting a lifestyle that he basically physically assaulted somebody or sexually assaulted somebody? Where, I mean, you don't unwillingly press yourself on a person. This was consensual. This was consensual all the way. It's consensual all the way when they got consensual all the way when they turned on the camera and turned off the camera.
You see?
It's consensual that whole time. So I don't understand all of a sudden where the assault came from. It's bad because now, if he wanted to get back in the NBA, if he wanted to, and he was good enough to play in the NBA, this is damaging to him taking his next job. And let's be honest with you, he's playing overseas in I think Taiwan or something like that.
Yeah.
If I'm not mistaken, those geographical areas look poorly down on homosexuality. I know China does for sure. I've been to China before. I can speak for him. They speak downly on homosexuality.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure if Taiwan is the same way, but I mean, if it is the same way, this hurts his career now playing overseas. Like, ESPN should be, they're wrong for this, man. That's wrong, man.
There's two stories in this whole conversation, right? There's the allegations. There's always three sides. There's the allegations. There's the truth, and then that's reported. And then I explicitly grabbed it from ESPN, not just from some backwoods news. And I don't call anybody backwoods, but from the major entertainment news network that talks about sports. And like David Hunt says, the E and ESPN is for entertainment, right?
Yeah, but I mean, it's good for entertainment, but it paints a picture of somebody that's really not true. And I'm tired of them painting pictures of African American men in a violent. That paints him in a violent way. It wasn't violence at all in this situation, but that paints him in a violent way. I mean, as we know, being educated, we can look to a sexual assault. I'm not saying, but that at least insinuates there was a violent act going on of some sort, an unwillfully violent act that was going on, whether it was holding someone down while you're doing it or whatever. That paints the wrong picture, man, and that's not what it is. It's an extortion case.
Yeah.
He
So
had a
so so
relationship with somebody.
Baxter Holmes right here, ESPN. I'm specifically saying this out loud. This is going to be part of the content that goes out tonight.
Yeah,
Let's have a chat about this, man. Let's talk about this title that you use, and maybe come on Team No Sleep so we can talk about. Are you trying to sell copies of an article, or are you reporting the news, regardless of how you feel about the man? Calling this a sexual assault allegations as opposed to an extortion case.
yeah.
That's kind of clicky, right? That's kind of clicky. We'll leave it
It's
at that.
cliche, man. Because I mean, even if the report was reported in the official file that was filed or whatever court it said sexual assault. But as obviously, if you read through it, it's an extortion case. Be professional enough to be like, this was an extortion case, or this is something with some extortion. He's educated. He works for ESPN. He's a writer. I'm pretty sure he can understand the difference between the two. I can, and I'm not a writer, and I don't know all that stuff, but I'm smart enough to understand that's more of an extortion situation than it is a sexual assault. So I'm just saying, why don't you paint the real picture when it comes to our imagery like you do everybody else's? Because if you look at the old Bill Roethlisberger thing when he sexually assaulted somebody, they didn't put that.
Yeah.
Ben
got off easy in the news, and he was my guy. Y'all know I'm Steelers all the way, but he got off easy in the news and in the rags. I think TMZ made me out. Why is TMZ the go-to? But all these other places.
Let's not go back as far as Ben Roethlisberger. What happened to the cat that beat his girl in the Seattle Seahawks? Remember we covered that story?
Yeah. Yep.
Oh, they paid that was completely small article. Very small. But now we come to a guy that used to play in the NBA, whether you like him or not, the headline buzz is not the same because this is eye-catching. And again, this labels us. It puts us in a group of situation, right? He sexually assaulted somebody. That puts you in a label. Another African-American man assaulted another person.
And folks are going to read it. Folks are going to read it because it's catchy. And like Kevin is saying, it's all about the headlines, right? But we're going to read the story because,
That puts us in the bad. That puts us in the bad light, and media needs to be held accountable for doing that, man. Like, why are you putting us in that bad light, or why are you putting that misleading information and putting us in the bad light? Like, quote the story for what it is.
Yep.
Period. Like, it's extortion. Okay. Dwight Howard's facing a sexual extortion case. Okay, cool. People will read. Is going to read it anyway. But you put sexually assault on there. Now it sounds like he physically harmed somebody, or he forced himself on somebody to have sex, which that wasn't the case at all. So I'm saying they need to be held accountable for those types of things. And ESPN is notorious for doing this. They do this done several times on other articles where they have a misleading title that doesn't go with what the actual story is all about. And it's unfair. It's unfair to Dwight Howard. And I don't care whether you like you said, whether you like him as a player or not, whether you prefer his sexual preference or not, who cares? As far as the story is concerned, the story is not accurate or not portraying the accurate based on this title. And that's foul.
Yeah. 100%. It's a libel situation, like David Hunt is saying, and I'm sure Dwight is going to pursue this, not just with I'm sure he's pursuing it with the gentleman that he had the photos with, but I mean, as these stories come out and as these misguided headlines come out as well, it's just definitely.
They just recant, man. They just do a recant so they can get out of it. We recant the story. We mistitled it. It's all BS on their persona as being part of the media. I get it, but I'm just saying. He doesn't understand the damage, and he does because that just paints another black man in a bad case in a situation where they say he basically sexually assaulted somebody or raped somebody. So what happens to the next athlete that doesn't do, or something like that, or like Michael Irvin's situation? Michael Irvin didn't do anything to this person, and they blasted me all over. They said all over he was doing this, and he said all these things and all this, and he was quoted as saying sexual things to the lady. He didn't say nothing to sort of the lady. But yet those are the headlines. It wasn't that he had an argument, had a disagreement with what's the name is. He said some sexual encountering words and blah, blah, this and blah, blah, that displaced his character. And he had to go and prove himself wrong. Why do we always got to prove ourselves innocent until guilty, but the other way around, they're always innocent until they're proven guilty? And the media.
Yep. There it is. I mean, and Irvin name is cleared, but they could have done more. But again,
it still has,
what are they going to do? He got his job.
Obviously has a long lasting effect because we talk about it. We still bring it up in reference all the time.
Yeah.
So it had a lasting effect, regardless of whatever happens to Dwight Howard's situation. If that headline continues, he will always be known. Oh, he's
He
the
will
person
always
that
be
committed
known like
sexual
that.
assault.
He will
Always,
always be
regardless.
known with that situation, and the guy from San Diego, the punter, will always be known
Yes.
by the allegations as well. And that story still makes me sick when I think about it. But I'm glad he was
Yep.
exonerated from that. And I forgot his name off the top of my head, but we've covered it a few times.
Matt Ariza, Matt,
Matter Ariza,
Matt,
right? Or again, y'all take a look at some of the backstories that we've talked about that whole Matt Ariza story. Again, just false allegations, false premise, and then putting somebody out there trying to get a check, trying to come up, right? Just fabricating and lying. So it's just not a good situation. Let me see what folks are saying. I want to be cognizant of these comments because they're coming in hot. It's a he said it's a he said situation, but there's video evidence. Man, I got to get that he right on that one. My apologizes. That's come on now. That's the court of public opinion. Doesn't work out that way in the legal system.
I don't think in any way it works. I hear you, man. I hear you, Kevin.
Ooh,
public opinion doesn't matter
Kevin
anyway.
Cox is back in the building, but listen, we got.
But we also know that they should state the facts instead of stated propaganda. That's the part. Or I should say propaganda is the wrong word.
Well, yeah, don't use that word propaganda. We half of the world is at war right now. You use the word propaganda.
No. I mean using misleading titles in order to get clicks. Like that's very, very wrong. And not quote it. As a journalist, they're supposed to quote the content that is given to them and be impartial, right? And be very impartial when they use a story, at least from what I understand about journalism. But that right there is already a misleading title to what the situation actually is.
And I don't care. Okay.
Yeah. It could have been misleading on a report what he got or what he got from TMZ or what he got from the county court or wherever they're in Georgia or wherever he's at. You know, if you read those statements, that is an extortion. That is not sexual assault. Yeah. So print what is there. You can put that in the story.
Just tell the truth. Just tell the truth.
Because
it's so much easier.
It hurts that man's character no matter what he's going to do. He's still trying to earn a living for himself and do what he needs to do and play basketball. That situation is going to hurt because it's just because of that title. Sexual assault will hurt him because they're going to bring it up as sexual assault because that's the headline on ESPN instead of saying, "Hey, you were being extorted. That somebody was trying to do you wrong." That's a whole different conversation, different content than saying you sexually assaulted somebody. Hey, James, you're being extorted by the mafia. Oh no, James, I heard you had sexual assault on some woman. That's a part of the mafia. Two different stories.
Two different. Like you got a whole lot of explaining to do for both of them, and neither one of them are related.
Yeah, it's completely different. So, man, I mean, be part of the narrative and tell the truth, like you said. That's the only way. ESPN should be ashamed of themselves, which we say about every 3 months. We talk about the same thing.
Talk about them. Right. Hey, that's all right. We gonna get him. Listen, when I chop this up, what's my boy name? Yeah, Baxter. We gonna get you, Blair. You know, it's all in love, but we gonna get you. Okay, let's move on to the more positive things. I guess let's say.
This is the last story tonight, right? This is the last one.
Yeah, because we went for a minute, but so I wanted to say a couple things. So when we were last on, them Aces finished and they won, and I told you, and you knew it too. The parade and that post game interview was gonna be lit. AJ Wilson was just crazy, and they had the speaker, and they came in and they were smoking cigars. So again, shouts out to them Las Vegas Aces for doing what it is that they did. World Series is set. Mm-hmm. I wanted the Phillies, man. I really wanted Harper to get in there. They were killing it. They were doing their thing. But we got Texas and we got Arizona in there. I don't have a dog in the fight because I wanted Dusty Baker and Houston. I wanted Dusty Baker, not necessarily Houston, to be in there. But we'll see how these Rangers and these Diamondbacks do. Dusty is retiring. Dusty lives out here up in my neck of the woods. He's got a winery up here in Northern California. So I'm going to go out there and kick it with him, drink some vino. Now that he is shutting down his illustrious career. So shouts out to you, Dusty Baker. But what are your thoughts on some of that while I bring up the last story?
Oh, man, Dusty Baker is a legend in Northern California. Let's keep it. He was a legend as a player. When he played with the Giants, he was great. He transcended that into being a manager. And he's won, I think, 2 World Series, if I'm not mistaken. while his tenure being a manager, and just made a lot of players elevate their game. So I think we always should give a toast and give a roses to the legends in the game, regardless, especially when they're alive and still kicking and going. So he deserves the roses. I think I honestly wish he would stay in the game, to be honest with you. The Padres just got to open it. Dusty, if you listening, please come on down and come out of retirement and give us 2 or 3 good years down in San Diego so we can get over the hump. With that, but I mean, you gotta just give props where props to do. Dusty Baker's always been a class act.
Yeah.
Always just been, every time when I was in Northern California and when I grew up in Sacramento, he was always a pillar as far as, when he played and when he became management. He's always been just a great dude. He's like you said, he's one of the GOATs, when it comes to this management thing. And I think, did he win one when he was a player? Did he win a World Series when he was a player? I don't think he won one when he was playing.
I don't think he won one when he played. No, I think he got them all in San Francisco. But I think it's, regardless, I think it's in his blood. He's 74 years old. But again, I think he's going to probably sit down for maybe one season and then come back to somebody as a consultant.
Man,
it's just in his blood.
San Diego Padres is listening.
There you go.
There you go. Man, please bring that man. I mean, we got bats in San Diego. I know we got the bats. So I know if he can just get that pitching down together and get it right, I think Dusty Baker should do something real special in San Diego. And place, who doesn't want to live in San Diego during the year, man? Probably one of the greatest places on earth to live.
Sell it, brother. Go ahead and sell it.
Yeah, man. Hey, Dusty, please. I want you to chop this one up. Dusty Baker, please come out of retirement and become the San Diego Padres' new manager, because I think they can do big things if he comes a part of it. Please chop that part up, put a stamp on it, and send that everywhere. Dusty Baker should be the Padres manager.
That'll be out there in a couple hours tonight. There it is. So shouts out to that. That's some good, some bad. Yeah, again, because we obviously don't want him to retire, but the man has done his due diligence and has served us well. On the good side, here we go talking about positivity, right? And we talking about, again, someone out there doing good while they're playing, having the resources to do it. Myles Garrett is out here about to become a minority owner in the Cleveland Cavaliers, doing his thing, putting his money where his mouth is. And apparently, what is it as well? He is going to be the official brand ambassador for the Cavaliers. After the game Myles Garrett had last week, this is right on time. He gonna be out there with the chain on, and listen, this is a good story right here. He had some things that happened a few years ago, and again with boys with the Steelers, right? There was some conversations that happened out there in the heat of battle, but his reputation and his fight, his competitiveness, and he's a good dude from everything that I read about him.
Myles Garrett,
this is all right here.
Man, he's great. I mean, and for him to be in this situation, one, congratulations for being in that situation to be able to go ahead and get your stake in there and get your stake in owning the NBA team. Two, congratulations on his play, because he's probably right now, he's leading to be the defensive MVP of the league right now.
Yeah.
The way he's playing right now. And like you said, it couldn't have came at a better time. Cleveland looked like they're finally starting to swing the fence and get in the situation for playoffs. He's playing at a super high level. Their defense is probably one of the tops in the NFL. And the fact of the matter that you put your stamp on it by, hey, I'm getting ready to purchase some minority ownership of the Cleveland Cavaliers, to make himself a staple in that community, right? A leader on the Browns. I'm going to own part of the basketball team. And not to mention the dude's a Dungeons and Dragons, and he's like a wizard or something in there. He's really high, and he's all into that stuff like that, man. I think he's embodies what that we need as a role model probably in Cleveland. And he's showing financially how to maneuver his money to get himself in a situation to last him and his family for a lifetime by owning something. So kudos, man. A salute to Myles Garrett, man. I wish him the best. I hope he gets more shares and he owns some more stuff, because we need that. We definitely need that within our community.
Well, look, he got $125 million for he signed that extension, so he got a couple of extra nickels laying around underneath the mattress. So yeah, he gonna be all right. And the fact that he's gonna be. I want to see this whole brand ambassador thing. Now that the NBA season is kicked off, I just want to see what that looks like with him out there in the middle of the court or something doing this thing. So I'm excited about that. Congratulations to Myles Garrett.
Wait,
Montel.
and duly know. But duly know.
Yeah.
My boy from USC. That's how you do it. That's how you do it. Not asking for it when you get drafted.
Yep.
Proving yourself playing at the high level within the league.
That's a good point.
Then you go ahead and get that ownership
That's
funds
a good
going
point.
on. So that's a side note right there.
Y'all take these lessons. Y'all take these lessons and these blessings right here. Yes, he is. Ownership is key. You're telling the truth. All right, brother. Listen, Wembley's out there doing it right now with the Spurs against the Dallas Mavericks. All 10 feet tall of him is out there. They beating up on Dallas 61-56 right now. I need to watch this dude because he's just freaking nature.
Amazing. Yeah,
right.
Yes, he is.
And I think this is exciting to see. I'm glad basketball is back. I know you glad baseball is
Kings
winding
winning
down.
too. And them Kings is winning 95-80 right now.
It's early. I know. I try not to get too excited about Sacramento Kings because it's been a heartbreak ever since the Jay Will, the Chris Webber day. All right, it's just been hard.
Oh man, they gonna light that sky up a few more times.
Because we get so close. You know, we light the beam once in a while, but we got to get a little bit closer. We got to get a little bit closer.
Nah, they're gonna be all right, man.
And the fans are true.
I'm a Kings. Huh? Yeah, I'm a Kings fan. They're my second favorite team. I done migrated to the Bay Area since my older half went there. But I mean, I love the Warriors, but Kings is one. You know, I got 1A and 1B. So I wish them the best until they play each other.
Well, you like the Warriors, so I'm sorry about last night because
it's okay.
Did what they need to do. That wasn't
the
pretty.
Celtics won. Somebody asked the Celtics won 108.
Yeah. Montel, take us home, brother. We did what we had to do, man. Go and take us home, man.
All right, yes, please, everybody. And as we always say, please be comfortable having uncomfortable conversations because that's the only way we learn from each other. Again, check up on a loved one, and say your prayers and be thankful. We out.